Hello guys, welcome to this video. It has been an ongoing political wrangling for some time. We have seen coastal leaders fight and also the president fight with the coastal leaders on the issue of Muguka. The question remains, should Muguka be allowed or should Muguka be outlawed? This is really the question that is in most of people's minds. So the narrative of presidential superiority is being challenged. Kenya has a long history of being a guided democracy, whereby the president makes all the decisions. Indeed, sometime in the past, the president was above the law. But with our new constitution, of course, most high-end state officials find ways to disobey the law without any legal consequences or legal repercussions. So we exist at a time span and time frame whereby there is an reawakening, especially with the inflow of education, whereby we are having so many people who are educated and people are able to make decisions by themselves. The ideological state, or what I may call the presidential state, also these are things that are being consigned into the dustbin of history. We have to understand that things are changing and the world is also changing. So the past is gone and we can no longer have a president ordering things to be done that may affect people in very, very negative ways. So when it comes to the story of Muguka, it has narrowed down to Ruto's word versus the word of coastal leaders. In other words, central government versus regional government. In most cases, examining the past, we find that central government has always come up with a way of overshadowing the local governments through controls such as fiscal control and other types of controls. Let's watch the clip by a coastal leader arguing for the case of why it is important to ban Mira and Muguka and all the families of that.
Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum.
Leo umetoa amri mara mingi kuhusu mambo ya madawa ya roadblocks.
Sometimes you're told, oh, you know, you can't ban it because inakubaliwa Kenya, inakubaliwa kule juu. Si hata pombe inakubaliwa na sheria ya Kenya. Na watu wa Central walisema hawataki pombe. Kwa hata sisi tuko na haki ya kusema hatutaki Muguka. National government cannot be deploying security apparatus to fight alcoholism in parts of the country, while at the same time telling us that Muguka and Mira are lawful substances or are cash crops. No. It's the wearer of the shoe that knows where it pinches. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If banning alcohol where alcoholism is a problem is a good thing, banning Mira and Muguka where there are problem is also a good thing. But we said, let's listen to the people. Let's take this through public participation. let's do it in a structured manner.
Kwa hivyo naomba pia wazee, wakina mama na viongozi tuungane na tupigane na hii kitu. Na tunaambia serikali, if there is any plan or any hidden agenda ya kwamba vijana wa kutoka Northern Kenya wawe zombie kama vile imekuwa Mombasa and all the places, then sisi tumeamuka sasa. Tumeamuka and we'll say no and no to drugs. Muguka kama inadhuru afya, inadhuru. And we have to be honest. Sasa lakini serikali yenyewe ambao wanasema bombe ya haramu isamishwe, Muguka which is even worse ambao inaharibu bongo ya vijana, you support it. Rais anatoka kutoka all the way from America, anapeana 500 million to the farmers of Muguka. Miraa imesamishwa upande ya Somalia na Uingereza, 1 billion shillings to Miraa people. Honestly, where are we going? You are stopping the bombe haram, Shanga and all these things.
As we have seen,
then when we tell you that these things are drug and
has some points,
well, you're promoting again the
he is making some sense. But the only mistake that the guy has made is what we call a political incorrectness. In politics, the key currency, what each political actor is fighting for continually, is known as power. And power is represented by money. So what does Muguka give Ruto? Simple. Ruto is running a country whereby the wage bill is ballooning, whereby we are seeing that most people on formal employments are not able to pay enough taxes for the state to capture all the needs or for the state expenditure. So in such circumstances, alternative economic activities or practices such as sole proprietorships and businesses play a huge role in really giving the state sources of taxation. Indeed, when a miraa farmer sells miraa or takes miraa to the market, the transporter or the guy who is ferrying the goods to the marketplace has some money. Also, when it goes to the market, the middleman gets some money. After reaching the market, of course, the buyer buys and gives the seller some money. So we have what we call the flow of cash within the economy. Indeed, the miraa growing areas are so huge and they produce miraa in so huge quantities. So the president is against the ban of miraa or purely on an economic sense. He knows that miraa generates the cash flow and it keeps money flowing in the economy. That is why he wants the miraa to be kept legal. End of long story, or to cut the long story short, banning miraa is going to be a gargantuan task, simply because the president, and also simply because that crop itself generates a lot of money, not only for farmers, and it also generates money for so many people. So there are very many political argument points that may be anchored on this issue. For example, we saw the deputy president giving us a brief. He said that Kenya will be a country of one man, one shilling. That type of narrative defeats logic in areas where we have sparse population distributions. So in most cases, miraa in Kenya is primarily grown in central areas. So from central areas it goes to the coast. So if the coastal leaders are successful in making miraa a demon and banning miraa from Mombasa, it means most people are going to be unemployed. The people that depend on the Muguka chain to make a living are going to suffer from massive unemployment. At the end of the day, we also have to realize that an addict is an addict. Therefore, there are people that will use extra legal ways to continue doing the mirror trade. In fact, Kenya has many notorious actors whereby some people will even monopolize the trade of mirror illegally. So we have a power battle between the national government and the county government. At the end of the day, of course, the national government will have their way, because national government is able to make legislation across the country, and that legislation will of course override local government legislation. So it's only, I think, what coastal leaders are talking about, all the sounds that they are making, those are just sounds. At the end of the day, the rule of the land, or at the end of the day, coast is only one out of very many counties in Kenya, and the coastal leaders are not that many. They cannot even reach 30 in parliament. So it simply means that Muguka, what they are talking about is only empty air, because at the end of the day, most of the members of parliament come from Kenya Kwanza, and Kenya Kwanza represents areas that grow these cash crops on a massive scale. This simply means at the end of the day, whether Mombasa leaders jump and scream, at the end of the day, Muguka will be legalized, and there is nothing that they will be able to do about it. Another thing, I heard many coastal leaders saying that if they will make life unbearable for Muguka traders in the coast. Remember that Kenya is governed by the law, and county law cannot override the national law. Therefore, the traders of this substance within the coastal areas have a right to demand compensation from any court of law, or to demand damages in case anything goes wrong in the conduct of their activities. What coastal leaders have to remember is that Kenya is a country which is governed by the rule of law, and also Kenya is a country which is anchored upon democracy, and in democracy, whether the many are stupid or not, they have their way. That is simply the basis of power. And also the constitution, of course, tells us about the supremacy of the constitution. So it's simply what the coastal leaders are talking is just hot air that will pass. They cannot really override the national government, because at the end of the day, national government will not reject Muguka. It will keep Muguka running, because Muguka keeps money in the pocket of the taxman. The taxman is able to get a lot of money courtesy to the cash flow generated by Muguka and Muguka related activities. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share and subscribe.